I thought I'd just drop.
Soccer in the United States has a massive youth involvement. Thousands of kids across the country, and certainly here in Denver, Colorado, love the sport and play the sport. I wanted to find out and share with you what it's like to actually start your own club. What does it need? What does it take? What's the first thoughts? So on Sport in Denver today, we have Morgan Murray, who is the founder of Parker FC here in Denver, Colorado. Morgan, welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me.
So, the idea, when did it start? When did it begin? And what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know this, but I've organized soccer leagues, different tournaments since 2012 in Colorado. So that's kind of where the organization idea popped into my head. A couple years ago, I tried to start something, a completely different name, and it didn't work out. So this time around, I combined a lot of connections that I have just in Colorado with coaching as well as the business world. And that's one of the first things that I started to do was look into insurance. How do you register a nonprofit? What are the rules, restrictions? And then once I had everything, intact, I went ahead and started marketing to different leagues, different players, mostly just trying to get a feel what people in Colorado would think of a new club. So for the first, I would say 3 months, it was pretty difficult. But after that, once I started getting different opinions from the Parker community, and that's where we're based, Parker, Colorado. A lot of people were very supportive, want to see the club grow, want to see, what the future holds. So that's kind of where the idea came from.
When did that idea start? I assume last year. Do you want to fill us in on those bits?
Sure. So the idea started late December of 2019. And so I was building different websites, and at the time, my girlfriend at the time told me to, build websites for other people because I can make money doing that. So one day,
I built a website. Yeah, good advice.
What's that?
That makes sense, Morgan. Good advice.
Yeah, so I took that advice and didn't follow it. I built a website for a soccer club.
Gotcha.
And then I showed it to her, and she said, that's not what I meant. So that's where it originally started. And then from there, what I did is I went to different, web developers, digital artists, and actually got a logo. And the first logo was completely, different. But with both logos, we had the community vote on it. So I didn't pick it. Adult players, youth players, parents, families, they actually picked the logo. Right. There was a lot of, professional looking logos. And ultimately, this one right here, I think it's pretty great.
Yeah. Parker FC, Parker. Whereabouts is it? Let people know whereabouts you are in Denver, Colorado.
Sure. So Parker, Colorado's in the South Denver area. It's a little bit east of I-25. It's one of the last cities before you go on to I-25 and reach Castle Rock. So it's a very growing community in the last 15, 20 years. And one of the great things about Parker and the Centennial area is they have lots of facilities that are very professional that we're going to take advantage of and, give them business and establish those partnerships.
Creating a youth environment to start with, football club, soccer club, is a huge commitment to, your local community. What have you done to promote that in the local community, and what sort of feedback you got back from it, Morgan?
Sure. So the first thing that we did is we had free futsal events at the Parker Field House. They also call that the barn. It looks like a barn. So we
Okay.
gave different free camps, different free events like the futsal event to kind of get a feel on what the town and the surrounding cities would feel about a new club. And we got great support. They loved it. A lot of them had actually never played futsal. So that was great. But one of the things that we're doing with the youth community is we're building it on development for the kids, as well as getting everybody involved. And what that means is, our teams, our coaches, we're all going to know each other on a personal level basis. And that's one of the benefits of, having a smaller club. You get that sense of community and everybody knows each other.
Yeah, that's a big impact, making some, people, the local kids, families, etc., feel part of your organisation. On the background, obviously, you've not done this all alone. Who's there in the background with you, setting those foundations, mate?
Sure. So like I said, after the first few months, it became easier. I added a board of directors. Those board of directors, very few of them have soccer backgrounds. Most of them are with business backgrounds, whether that's running companies or, high level executives in the Denver area. Won't get into what companies, but they're very, very smart, intelligent people. Also, I started hiring coaches. That started with, lots and lots of interviews and kind of evaluating. It was a little bit different because we've been stuck at home. So we had to do, videos, Zoom, things like that, phone calls. And so we got some great coaches. One of the coaches we have is John. We have another coach named Tunde. We recently added a marketing director. His name is Christopher Neal. So his job is to primarily get, different partnerships, kind of see, what we've been missing or what I have been missing. Very great guy, has a great background for marketing. He did a lot of the same things for Lifetime Fitness that he's going to be doing for us. So he fits in great.
Mission statement, club philosophy. Everybody has one. What's yours look like, Morgan?
So if you haven't viewed our website, so basically what our mission statement is to a couple things we have. One is build character through integrity. Sure. So a lot of people get character and integrity, kind of mixed up. They get intertwined quite a lot. So basically, the way that works is we're developing your children to not only be soccer players, but once they get a little bit older, they're going to be adults, and we want to prepare them for whether they're going to college or they're extending their youth career into a college career, professional career. We want to give them that foundation with good morals, things of that nature that would go into the integrity. So they can use all that. Also, at the same time, we want to make the club as affordable as we can for everybody. So our youth program is only $1,300 for the entire year. Our adult program is only $450 for the entire year. So that's one of the main things that we focus on is how can we make it more affordable for everybody. And then once they're into the club, then we start bringing in those morals, integrity, things like that. With the youth program, we will focus, like I said, on the development. Sure. With the adult program, that's more of an elite program. So we're looking to bring in teams that are going to win in the Colorado Premier League. And looking at the players that we have coming, we have players from NAIA, NCAA, all three divisions. We have former professional players. So it's great. And we do play in as you can see, the Colorado Youth Premier League. So that's directly related to the Colorado Premier League. So after they turn actually 17, they can enter the adult league. And so they can use that adult league to propel them into colleges or wherever they want to go.
So you've come in December, all guns blazing. You've got your foundation, you've got your staff behind you because you like me, you're in the trenches. You're out there knocking on doors and generating some interest. Sure. And then for the spring season, which should have commenced in March, and it came to full stop, as we know. What have you done during that time to stay connected with, let's stay with the youth to start with. What have you done during that time to stay connected and keep that interest going?
Sure. So we had the kind of the spring season not happening did hit us hard, just like any other club.
Yeah.
So what we did, and myself and other staff members, is we reached out to the parents on the phone, and we also did Zoom videos with children, as long as we got permission from the parents.
Of course.
Whether those were soccer drills or seeing their input upon where they want to play or what their future looks like, we established that trust within parents and within the players. And so by doing that, they're very excited, for the fall. And obviously, we'll do winter programs and lead into the spring. But if we hadn't done that, it would have been very difficult to grow the youth program.
Just the timing of the unfortunate status quo that we have right now. So commendable what you're doing. I've been involved in a couple of those little podcasts and Zoom meetings, and
Sure.
you're very, very organised. So that is commendable under these difficult circumstances. You mentioned adults. How's that looking for you at the moment with the adult side of it?
So that has grown tremendously. I introduced the adult program, I want to say about a month ago, might even be 3 weeks ago. And we hit a hot market at the right time.
Right.
Reason I say that is a lot of adults, want to go back to playing soccer, but they're also traveling to different cities. And a lot of them live in the Southern Denver area.
Right.
So they want to play at a high level, and, they want to also play close. If you get off work, the last thing you want to do is drive another 30, 45 minutes to play soccer. But they were doing that. And so we gave them a different opportunity. And basically the way that worked is we did, marketing online, and we're also utilizing TeamSnap. So it makes it very, very organized to be able to communicate with them and kind of express what we expect from them. And, kind of the cost. Like I said, we made it probably the most affordable that we could. And that $450 does include, a full kit with 2 practices a week. So they're really getting a good deal there.
It seems like it. Make sure I get one of those shirts, mate, for me backdrop. I'm trying to collect shirts off
Sure.
people, so I'm still waiting for a couple to come in. So your adult program's got some depth to it. So what's the format look like with the levels of play for those adults, Morgan?
Sure. So all the teams are going to play in some form of the Colorado Premier League or the Colorado Super League. If you're unfamiliar with that, those 2 leagues, they're the top amateur leagues in Colorado. So they're going to be a little bit higher than the average league you'd find, in a fun league or indoor or futsal, anything like that. Our top team is called our elite team. The second team is called the select team. The third team, we're actually letting the Parker community vote on that. We just kind of, like I said, we want to get them involved. So a couple names that came by was Classic or Academy. So we're still trying to see what the most votes come into, because that name will be around for years. So we want to make sure we pick the right one. And our 4th tier team is called Vintage, which we thought was clever. And so that's for the over 30 team. And even if people come out and they make the 3rd or 4th team, they have to understand that they're still playing at a very, very high level.
Sure, I'm familiar with that. Do you have anything beyond over 30s? Because I'm looking at getting my boots back on, mate. Do you have anything like an antique league or anything down there where I can dust myself off or anything? Do you go further into that?
We could put you on a solo team, or we could put you in goal on the over 30.
No, I always usually get chipped in goal. I can't touch the crossbar. So,
we can put a smaller goal out there.
well, thanks for accommodating me. I do appreciate that. I was thinking of popping down anyway to see you at some stage. So I'll tell you, I might put my boots on and do a Carlos Valderrama around there. Where's your home? Thanks for laughing. Where's your home fields, mate?
So our home fields are at Dove Valley. It's
Okay.
a little bit north of Parker, probably 1-2 miles. It's actually where the Broncos facility is, where they do training. It's also very near to the South Suburban sports bubble, and you've probably seen that when you're driving.
Sure.
So those are great fields. We also, since our adult league will also play at Broomfield Commons, and a lot of times they'll play at Dove Valley. But one of the great things about our youth program, and any other club that's participating in this league, is that your home and away games are at Dove Valley. So that's very unique. So it does take away that the travel time a little bit.
Becomes cost effective there, so
Yeah.
you can. And do you practice there as well, or are you sort of in the Parker zone?
So we do practice there. We're also going to utilize a lot of different fields for different reasons. Once it gets darker, we're going to utilize lights at some of the high schools, some of the local parks there that have lights. But right now, Dove Valley works great for us. There's tons of fields, tons of goals, and there's always a community there. There's always pickup there. So if they see us, they're welcome to go on a trial, or if they're with their youth, we're certainly going to accommodate them.
And as you say, that part of the town has certainly grown in terms of population over the last 5 or 6 years. Anyway, what are your? I've not seen your uniform. What colours do you run with? What's your uniform look like? And I've not seen any pictures, mate. I'll put them up on screen. Oh, here we go.
Grab
Brilliant.
it for you.
Is that my shirt?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
over
right.
there it's over there on the ground. So I'll basically we actually have a couple different versions, and we haven't released them all yet.
Okay.
But it is a Nike Legend shirt that typically is going to be blue or white. And so we actually work with soccer.com, where you can basically change colors, things like that. So actually our elite team's also going to have a black jersey with our logo. Instead of it being blue, it's going to be black.
Okay.
We'll get you one of the one of the
I'm
elite
desperate, mate.
jerseys.
I keep asking everyone. They keep ignoring me. Hey, when you say blue, is it like Chelsea blue, or is it got to go with like the sky blue, like Lazio or Celta Vigo or something like that?
So it's more Chelsea, more darker, a
Okay.
little bit blue. But I'm gonna work with them to get a baby blue because that's what I originally wanted. So we're gonna change that.
Okay. The transition from the youth into the adults, is there a connection there that it's one big community, one big club?
Yeah, so we're gonna do a lot of different events where youth are invited and the adult program is invited. We will have separate events for various different reasons. If the adult program is going to a place of establishment that's 21 and over, or if the youth program is going to go karting, we'll have to see if the adults want to go there. But in terms of development, I'm glad you asked that. So kind of what I touched on before is, let's say you're 17 years old, you don't want to play in the U18 youth program because you're dominating, you want a little bit higher level.
Sure.
Then you can at 17 enter to our program. And we have a lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds that are playing in that. So whether you make the elite team or you make the third team, you can work your way up because you're so young at that point.
I think that's encouraging for those younger generations, 17, 18, looking to do maybe a little bit more. Could they dual play? Could they play in the adult league as well as maybe with their friends, their team, in that high school age group as well?
So a youth player obviously could, adult player obviously, if you're over
right.
you're over 18. So they certainly could. So let's say a 17-year-old or a U18, however you want to look at that, is playing with their friends, and then they also want to play with the adult team. They can certainly do that. Reason why is they're two different leagues, but also they're going to be practicing at different times. So it would be a lot of work. But if you're looking to advance your career, it's certainly something worth looking into. The youth program would practice, typical 4:30 to 6 around that area. And then the adult program is going to be 6 to 8:30. And then we're also going to look at 7 to 8:30. So it would be a long day, especially after school.
Sure. And you've mentioned, tryouts for the youth and the adults with the season closed. So you're actually prepping now through the summer, ready for the fall, and obviously the adult leagues. What's the dates and the times for those tryouts? What you're looking at for setting that up, Morgan?
So the youth program is going to be July 12th and July 19th. The boys are going to be July 12th, and the girls are going to be July 19th. And so that's actually not going to be at Dove Valley. That's going to be at Tallman Park.
Okay.
Tallman Meadows Park, and that's in Parker, Colorado. We wanted to at least, give some of the money back to, those fields in Parker.
Sure.
And so those are going to start at 9 a.m., both of those. And it's going to be, all of our coaches are going to be there. All of our staff members are going to be there. For the adult tryouts, those will be at Dove Valley, and those are on July 26th. And so we do have a lot of people coming, so we're going to make sure that we have multiple fields. And, the adult tryouts are going to look pretty similar to adult tryouts that you've been into. We're going to have multiple different 11v11 fields, probably break it down into 6v6 to kind of see more of the technical, tactical work that they can do. But those are going to start at 9 a.m. as well. And those are going to actually be a little bit longer. You're going to be playing scrimmages, different drills into about 1 o'clock that day.
Let's assume that the spring season was all hunky-dory, mate, and we were up and running. Are you looking to implement what would be a year-round program with summer camps and clinics, and then maybe a winter indoor program as well, Morgan?
Yeah, so we want to implement the most cost-effective, but also the most, efficient program that we can do, and that includes, playing during the summer, playing during the winter, and obviously playing year-round. One of the things that we do stress is we're not going to force youth players or adult players to play in there. So if they want to get better, that opportunity is there for them. But if they need a break or they want to play a different sport, that's completely fine with us.
Are you coaching?
Am I coaching one of the teams?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to coach one of the teams. I might in the future, maybe future years. I wanted to give more coaches more opportunities to coach. Some of these coaches may not have had the same opportunities in different areas, so they're very excited about the talent that they're getting, kind of how friendly everybody is. So I wanted to give that opportunity to them than rather me be a coach.
Are you playing for the adults then? There we go.
So I actually decided in the last few days that I'd try and play on the third team or the vintage team. The only issue with that is I turned 30 in November, so I can't technically
No, you're all right. I can't remember that far back, mate, so don't worry about that. I'm sure you'll be fine. So you're looking forward to playing on one of the teams then, yeah, on the adult side, mate?
Yeah, as long as I don't get cut during tryouts. That might be looked poor upon.
Talking of playing, Morgan, what did it look like for you growing up, mate, and getting involved in soccer? How did that all commence? How many windows did you break, mate?
Probably a lot.
Oh.
Growing up, I started with the recreational program with Littleton United.
Sure.
I believe it was called just Littleton at that point, the recreational.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went into I believe it was their Rec Plus program, and then also into their competitive program. So I stuck with them my whole youth career. I had lots of great coaches, lots of, even some of the technical directors are still, I don't think they're over there, but they're still, doing something with the Colorado soccer community.
Right.
So it was a great club to work for, or play for, I should say. And one of the cool things that they had, and I took a lot of advice from them, is they had that local feel as well too. So they weren't too big, and you felt like a community, no matter if you were on, their white team, which was their A team, or if you're on their gold team, which I believe used to be their fourth tier team.
Right. Their community and Littleton do an excellent job with their foundations and their coaching staff. So progression through your youth, and what was some of the moments in there? Some of the highlights playing through the United organisation.
Sure. There was quite a few. I'd say the biggest one is I had the opportunity to have my club coach also be my high school coach. This is actually after I transferred high schools, so is what it is. But that was one of the cool things that we had, and it actually helped me become a better coach. Looking back at it, is I had this coach that felt like a friend and a role model, and I implemented those techniques to when I was coaching. But one of I would say the biggest highlights, I remember the losses more than the wins, to be honest. But I remember one game we had. It was in stoppage time. Not that I knew that at all, but I was on the corner, and I did a scissors cut, put the ball through this guy's legs, and just took a shot, hoping it'd go in, and it hit off the post. Went in, so we were up 2-1 at that point. And then after the team kicked, did the kickoff, he called the game. So it was kind of a happy thing because I had no time, no idea what the time was, and I would say it was more lucky than skill, but it was still pretty memorable.
Morgan, who's that coach you were talking about? Obviously, a mentor for you to take that on with you into your coaching
Sure.
environment. Who was that, Morgan?
So that was Tony Hurt.
Okay.
So he coached for Heritage High School, I would say for 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
He also coached for Littleton United for a number of years. Great guy. His wife helped out as well too.
Sure.
I remember when I got a red card one time. She wasn't too happy with me, but no, they're great people. They're also teachers. And after, I believe it was 2011, they decided to go teach around the world. And I've seen pictures and connected with them still. And Tony's still coaching in different countries, so it's pretty cool for him.
And to Tony several years ago. A great mentor. Have you got any other mentors that you've taken some of the details from and implement that into your current club?
It's not entirely mentors in terms of that into the club. I do have a lot of business mentors, but soccer specific, I've worked for lots of great clubs, and every club does different things very, very great. And so I've taken a lot of what I've learned just over time and implemented that. Like I said, every club that I have worked for has been amazing to me. So I want to, do those things so I don't have to learn it along the way and make mistakes.
Right. Your backroom staff, the coaches, you said you obviously offered them the opportunity to step in there and coach, and you've taken a little step back. What are you doing on the education side for those coaches?
So with education and pertaining to coaches, they will have the opportunity to take coaching classes that we will, pay a portion of. They're required to do different, certifications to be able to coach, whether that's, CPR, concussion, things like that. We also have a training program that will put coaches through. So even if they've coached before, it's not us saying, hey, you need to do this training program. It's this is the fundamentals and kind of what we want to bring to the club. So as long as they can incorporate that, they have the freedom to do most drills, most exercises, run the team how they would like to run the team, and ultimately have fun with the kids or adults, whether they're winning or not. I believe winning's more fun, but
it helps. Yeah.
In the end, if they're having fun, no matter what age they are, they're going to continue to come back to the club.
I know, probably a difficult question, but when you set all this up, what were your short-term goals for like 2020? And you probably had to readjust them now. But what were your short-term goals looking like, Morgan, when you first set it up for 2020? What do they look like now, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, geez. I'd say first starting now is to get a logo.
Right. Yeah.
But the short-term goals, in all seriousness, was to get a lot of players that hadn't played soccer before and connect with the communities and go from there. A lot of different leagues have different requirements, and so we wanted to meet all those requirements. Short-term goals were obviously take care of the business stuff first. Right. Make sure everything's in line, make sure we have a business plan. That way, no matter if we grow or didn't grow, we could implement different strategies. Now, long-term, or, I would say it's still short-term, mid-term, we're a brand new club, but right. Let's go with long-term. Our goals for the youth program would be to, have multiple teams at different levels. That gives the opportunity to play on different teams. And if you want to move up or you want to stay in your current team, you have that choice. Sure. We're never going to move somebody up if they don't want to. So that's one of the benefits. With the adult program, they do have a lot of long-term goals. So one of those would be the U.S. Open Cup, which I know you're very familiar with, but some people might not be. So what that is it's basically a tournament where amateur teams and professional teams can play against each other. So when you're an amateur team, you do play-in rounds, and then you verse different levels and tiers of teams, whether they're amateur or professional. In the end, you might play a USL team, you might play an MLS team, but really the whole thing behind that is, a lot of these players didn't get the opportunity to play in the USL or play in the MLS. So if they can get a shot at them, they're going to take it.
Right. So it's a bit, from where I come from, it's a bit like the FA Cup then, where you start at round 755 and you work your way up to the Wembley final. I think that's a great opportunity, and that's a good incentive for any adult program to aspire to and get in there. You mentioned a little bit of education. And I know you work in education. Do you want to enlighten us on how that will evolve in your club and your job as well?
Sure. So I think it's vital that every club, including ours, has some type of education in terms of a college program. And so we work with one of the jobs that I work for. It's called Solutions for Tuition. So that company helps parents cut the cost of college, and also with the Parker FC involved, you have the recruiting aspect. So parents and children are getting the financial information they need through us. They're also getting the recruiting information they need through us. So basically, it's a total package. And with Solutions for Tuition, they do have requirement. If they can't save you $20,000 or more, they won't take you on as a client, but they'll still meet with you for free, for 30 minutes or an hour. And so what that meeting is called it's called a free college planning analysis. So whether you play soccer, whether you play football, whether you don't play any sport at all, but you want to save money on an in-state, out-of-state, private, Ivy League school, no matter what it is, they have different plans for different types of families. Whether your grandparents are helping, whether your parents are divorced, whether you're a business owner, there's lots of different tax strategies that they've perfected over the last 15 years. And so that's fantastic, because when you combine that with soccer, you're going to get more money, doing different tax stuff, getting different outside scholarships. But at the same time, if you get money for soccer, then you combine the total package, and, after you graduate, you're going to be pretty empty.
Yeah, that's true. Within the youth sector of the club, and that's fantastic what you're doing, especially those kids, entering high school, looking for their future, maybe possibly not in soccer, but aligning the education with the players. That is fantastic. Are you looking at doing any travel teams within your organisation?
So we are. The one travel team that we'll have, and I haven't touched base on it too much, would be our women's program. So we're contemplating right now whether to put that team into the Colorado Premier League or it'd be the WPSL. And so there's different, things we have to meet, and we actually meet, we have the ability to meet all those for either league. It really comes down to the players, if they want to do that traveling, because the difference in leagues in terms of talent wise, there's a big difference, especially with age. You're going to get a lot of DA teams that are probably going to enter, or maybe they're a DA team last year. Whereas the Premier League, you're going to be playing, players that came back from college or came back from professional. But if we do go with the WPSL, you'd be traveling mostly in Colorado based on the teams that we have, but you'd be going to different states as well. And then at that point, you have a great opportunity to start playing professional soccer if you really want to, especially with, the programs in the United States for women, they're top line. So there's a great opportunity there if you're trying to, get to the next level.
In the women's part, the WPSL, coming in at that, maybe that second or third tier, is there any set, ground requirements, organize it? Would it be different to playing local in the Colorado Premier League?
Yeah, so one of the things when you run a club is you have to make sure that you meet all the requirements of the state, different states, different leagues. So some of the requirements specifically to your question would be, you have to have, for example, a concession stand and kind of a more professional aspect where people are paying for tickets, whether they're $1, $5, $10, $20.
Okay.
They have the ability to get season tickets. One of the other requirements is we have to have typically, they'd like a stadium to be our home field.
Right.
And then also we will live stream every game. So basically it's much more, I'm not going to say it's much more professional, but it's a professional based league. The only difference is players are not going to get paid. But that would be a step up, in my opinion, from the women's DA league. Obviously, it's not a DA league, but like an ECNL, it'd be a step up from that.
So you've got to meet all these regulations. Are you actually looking into that right now? Have you set some foundations for it, Morgan?
Yeah, so we're looking into that. I've had a couple conversations with them. They've sent over, all the documents, things like that. So that's one of the big difference. You have to go through the documents. Can we actually afford this? Can we actually do this? But one of the biggest things is, do the women actually want to do it? Because if we, force them into this league where, they're not prepared mentally or physically, or they just don't want to be there, that's going to be, an awful season. Nobody's going to have fun. Results are going to be poor. Mm-hmm. But looking at, if we get those women to build that chemistry, want to come together, then they have the opportunity to, really do something great.
So that's work in progress. May happen in the near future, depending on what your membership would like to do. Are you doing it the same thing on the men's side? I know the Colorado Adult League is fiercely competitive. There's some excellent teams in there and excellent players. Would you potentially be looking to expand on that? Beyond Colorado with the men's?
So are you asking if the men's team would become like a traveling team?
Yeah. Is that an option for you?
So that would be an option, not this year,
Right.
and maybe not next year. So it really depends on how well the talent is. But in my opinion, the talent's only going to grow every year.
Sure.
So that would be, something to look into. And that would be a great opportunity, especially for some of the younger players, to get exposure, whether that's highlight videos or you're playing in front of different coaches, or, you just get the right person to, watch you at the right time. Having playing in different areas, it's going to help quite a bit. But that's a little bit a ways away.
Again, open for discussion for your membership as you progress.
Mm-hmm.
So the year is 2023. What's the club look like?
Hopefully a lot bigger.
What would it look like? What not too big, not too small. How's it look like?
So we don't want to make it too big because we want to stick with our roots in Parker. But we do want it to be big enough that you have the same opportunity to excel that you would at, a large club or, even a smaller club, however you want to look at it. So in 2023, the adult program will have more women's teams. Right now we have one. The men's teams are going to have the same amount of teams. We're just going to have more people come to tryouts. So it'll be higher talent. The youth program, whether we change leagues or we don't change leagues, if we do change leagues, the biggest difference with that is we'd have teams below U10. So reason being is we don't have teams below U10 in our particular league. We have teams, U10 through U18 because that's what they offer.
Sure. Okay.
So we would implement different programs, have a lot more camps, complimentary camps, just trying to get more out there as well. But also, we've been talking to a lot of different restaurants, a lot of different businesses. So by that time in 2023, they're going to feel like family to us. So that's something that we're looking to build upon.
On that youth section, you say looking at different leagues. What is open to you out there, within Colorado?
So right now, like I said, we play. As long as everything goes well with COVID-19, we're going to play in the Colorado Youth Premier League. Okay. So it's run a little bit different. And when I say that, they have a U10, a U12, U14, U16, U18. So you might be playing up, you might be playing down. But as I kind of got into that with the adult league, you have that option. The other league that we'd be looking at would be the CSA. And so one of the biggest advantages to that league is, you have pretty much every age that you can imagine. Lots of great people that work for that organization, and every state has a state association, I should say. So that would be something that we look into, but at this time, it's too early to tell.
I could talk with you all day because I've got 1,000 questions. I say that to everyone. I've got 100 questions. There you go. I've changed it up a little bit, which is still far too many. Love what you're doing, mate.
Thank
I
you.
think it's very, very, very brave.
Yeah.
It's a vision you have. Sporting Denver and myself wish you all the. I'm not going to let you go just yet.
Yeah, you were.
Sporting Denver wish you all the very best, and don't forget that shirt, mate. And
I won't. I'll make it.
don't be a stranger.
Especially antique for you.
Cheers, mate. Yeah. Can't let you go without doing a quick fire five. Got to do a quick fire five questions. So I'm going to straight in at you. What's the team you support?
I don't know if you're going to like it, but
I don't care. Go on.
Manchester United.
Brilliant. I'm trying to get him on the show. I'm working on it, so I've got to go. Nice one, mate. Yeah, there we go. What about on the female side?
Oh, wow. Probably the Portland Thorns, or probably just in general United States. But on a more Portland Thorns. I do like what Manchester City's doing. I just don't like the club.
You didn't hear that here first, okay? Yeah, I'm trying to get City here as well, mate. So behave.
I like them all. I take that back. I like every club in the world.
Brilliant, mate. Love it. You're on. I'll take you over to Manchester. We'll have some fish and chips and go and watch you play, mate. Player. Who's your favourite player? Let's go growing up. Who favourite players idolising?
Wayne Rooney. I actually did a book report on him when I was in 10th grade. And actually, I didn't read the book, but I I put out a lot of videos of when Wayne Rooney was a little bit younger, when they called him the boy wonder. And I put on a lot of videos because we had to do a presentation. So I made all these people watch it, and I thought it was great. Teacher didn't.
Don't matter, mate. It's all about yourself. So Wayne's at my club now, Derby County. So that's brilliant. And for all the Nottingham Forest fans out there, I'm in trouble. So there we go. There's no love lost. What about on the female side, mate?
I have three. So obviously Mia Hamm, just growing up. But recently, the Colorado girls. I mean, you have Lindsay, you have Mal, or I should say Pew and Huron. And the reason I like them is because they're such great role models for the state of Colorado. You have two players who just went to the highest level of women's soccer. So I think that's fantastic for, younger children, or I should say younger women or girls.
Okay. Yeah. So you're 30, you still play. You're going to put yourself on the third team. If there was a team, yeah, I'm like 9th or something like that, mate, aren't I? So, yeah, vintage. So if you could put yourself in a team now, doesn't matter, any team on the planet currently playing, you're in transition in your career, what team are you playing on, mate?
Oh, man. Realistically?
No. No, just anyone. What you on? Where you going? What team you on?
Oh, well,
who've you signed for? Come on.
That's easy. I don't know if you're... Signing's the best word, but I would go with the United States national men's team.
So
and then hopefully you get to play in a World Cup. We'll see about that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. You've got to give Will Trapp a call, the captain, and see if you can get him playing in your adult league, mate. See if you can fit him into your second team. See how you.
Yeah, I could.
Have a word.
I could be the water boy.
There you go.
It's a way to get on.
That's my job, mate. I still got that. I've got a golf cart to do that because I can't run. So there we go. So on the coaching side, if you were the best coach on the planet, according to yourself, we all are anyway, mate.
Yeah.
What team would you be coaching right now? Any team you like, mate.
Right now, the Colorado Rapids, and the reason for that is I live in Colorado. It'd be easy access to drive there. And I already think in my mind I'm a great coach, but if I'm not, then they have to deal with it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, you've been running the ship, mate, and exciting things for the Rapids at the moment. Your
Yeah,
hometown, our hometown club. So unfortunately, we're at a standstill. But it looked good
yeah.
from after that first game. So um, yeah, after game
Mhm.
meal. What would you look for apart from fish and chips and half a Guinness, mate? I don't know if I can say it. An orange juice. You've played your game, you've run your socks off, you've done your scissors from the corner, you've hit the post, it's gone in, you've scored the winning goal, whistle's gone, you're hungry. What would you look for post match meal, mate?
So
What's
in
your go?
Arizona, it was In-N-Out burger. But I would say where that's not, I would probably go to a Chipotle or a Qdoba.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm
Just
all
eat a
over
lot
it.
of food.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether now I can handle it, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I've got hollow legs, so let me know when you're going, mate. Yeah, that's on my menu. Morgan, thanks very much, mate. Greatly appreciated
Mhm.
from all of us, Sporting Denver, our supporters, followers. Good luck in your venture. Do you want to leave our viewers with a message out there, whatever that may be, mate?
Sure. Well, first, thank you as well. It's been awesome. I've seen everybody that you've interviewed, so I'm honored to be on the show. What I'd leave viewers with is, our club is another option. Whether you want to come in at an adult age or you want to come in at a youth age, or if you just want to have a conversation with us and kind of see what we can offer you, our door is always open. What to also consider is that college program, and you don't have to join our club if you just want to take advantage of that. So my email, if you guys want to get in contact with me, is morgan@parkerfc.com. Feel free to email me anytime, and I'll get back with you, very quickly. Otherwise, it's been awesome.